Good evening, everyone, and it is Thursday night. Welcome to a brand new NLG show. What's up, boys?
What's
Hey,
happening?
what's going on?
Not a whole lot. Little
Once
short.
again, we're still alive.
We are still alive.
People are in the chat.
Yes, they
Hopefully,
are, and they're
everybody's
still
doing
alive.
good too.
They're still
Excellent.
alive. Graphic God, Jason 3D. He's in VR. He was
He
watching.
is
He
in
showed that
VR.
last week. He showed us. He showed us in VR. So it is another wonderful Thursday night. We've got short crew tonight. Frankie is not feeling well. Thankfully, his isn't COVID. And uh, Chris was he's got to work early tomorrow. So unlike John, who would just take a nap and then sleep for 2 hours and then go to work the next day.
Yeah.
Chris doesn't play that. So it's just the
Right.
three of us, and that's okay because it's gonna be a great show. So I am Mike Mullis, aka Stinger NLG, and then to my left, he is the man, the myth, the legend, the HTK360. He's in the game. Peter Utink.
He's in
What's
the
up,
game.
brother?
He's always in the game. Hey, what's going on?
He's literally in the game. Look behind him.
Yeah, exactly. This is nice little Skype desktop feature. Now we have desktop, so now I'm definitely in the game.
Yes, you are. Next thing you know, we got to get you in the cart. That would be a great. That'd be
Yeah,
a great.
Yeah.
If Skype would let you do movies behind you,
that would be cool.
that would be cool. That'd be
I
a lot
could,
of copyright law,
I
though.
might be able to rake something up.
That would be
So
cool.
yeah, with some background, but who knows? I don't know.
I don't either. I don't either. But then, to your left, and your right, my right, or their right, he is Techno Fabulous. He is the man who will not stream a game, but he will buy every console there is, even if they don't exist. He is John Place. What's up, brother?
Hey guys, what's going on? Yes,
Not
I
much.
am the console hugger. I'm in the
Yes.
house tonight.
Console hugger in the house.
Uh, it's good to
That's
be here.
awesome.
You know, like you said, Mike, it's really hard each week. I love doing the show, and it's one of those little small sacrifices you make because I love doing this show so much that I get limited sleep on Friday, but it's worth it. Just getting on the show with you guys talking about games. I look forward to this each week. So
Yeah, me too. Me too. Look at this chat room already.
if it don't kill you, it makes you
Top.
tough, right?
Yeah, we got Infinite, who was first. We got our new brother Pete. Opened every box. The man with the awesome Amico videos. Our friend Daredevil Dave Dahl, our new wrestling brother. We got Invader. Welcome, Invader. Stinking Corpse was in. He was second. Look at this. We got Supersonic Station. We got Crispy Bomb. We got the whole
Wow.
retro. And we get all we need is Jago. And we had we have almost the whole retro Renegades crew.
Yeah, look at Daredevil. He says, I'm looking forward to being on finally. Yeah.
Yes. We're going to name is Infisto. Yes, we're gonna get we are. Z Black, I saw Z Black in there, and of course, our main brother Super Cooper, who man, we miss gaming with you, brother. I know your work schedule has been kind of rough, but I miss being in that party chat with you. So maybe over a weekend. And then, of
Mike, what are
course,
you eating, man? You're making me
eating.
hungry.
you know what? This should this should be our product of the week. Well,
It
it's
should
fruit
be.
snacks.
Oh, those are
Oh,
nice.
we had a thing
Yes.
about Welch's fruit snacks. It was what's that guy from the used to be Coalition? Um,
Rod Ferguson.
yeah, Rob Ferguson. He says he was getting addicted to those.
Yeah,
He says-
it's easy to. I brought 3 bags down. I'm already after 2.
Yeah,
Oh,
see?
sorry, Pete. Pete says I'm hungry. He said I haven't I haven't eaten or peed. I'm sorry.
Well, I love those circus peanuts, so if I like those, I'm sure I'd like those Welch's grape thingies.
Oh my God, Supersonic Station. Holy crap! He said I'm never drinking again. If you didn't watch this week's Retro Renegades, oh my goodness, that was a show to end all shows. Oh my goodness, that was so fantastic. Check out our brothers over at Retro Renegades. They are the best show on Tuesday nights. No doubt. No doubt. So anyway, so it's been a week where I can actually get a couple of games in. Did you guys get a chance to play a whole lot?
Well, a little bit. Like Sea of Thieves came out with a new update, where now I have cats that you can purchase. So you have cats on the boat.
Cats on the boat. Why?
I don't know. I mean, it's all movie groovy, but it's just like purely cosmetic. It's not that the cat will, I don't know, alert for something that you have a fire on your boat and where it is, or or there's birds, there's parrots saying like, hey, we got a border on your left. Now that would be useful. This is like pure, like,
Oh my god.
as well.
Oh man. Oh, Pete says WWE 2K21 was canceled? Oh no.
Yeah.
I did not hear that.
2K20
Yeah.
snafu.
Well, after that debacle,
Yeah,
but
go to
still.
the-
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank
opens-
goodness for Retromania.
I'm
Yeah.
telling you, that
you
opens
go.
the door for our friend Mike.
Opens the door.
And of course, Dave Dahl, who wants to be on that DLC. We got your back,
Right.
Dave. We got your back.
That's right.
So wow,
Dave, I want to be your tag team partner.
Oh my
I'm gonna
God!
be the one
Yay.
that tests out all his new moves.
Wow. Okay.
Mike, I did get to play a few games this week. Actually, I got to play some Luigi's Mansion 3, and that game's been fantastic, man. It's kind of like, I don't know, it's like Ghostbusters almost. And, you're in this hotel and you're zapping ghosts with your backpack. You're solving mysteries and riddles, and I really didn't know what to think when I went into the game, but it's awesome. And I've also been playing some DLC from Grid, the racing game. They came out with their third DLC package. And this DLC is different than the others because they've added achievements or trophies. So depending on whether you have the Xbox version or PlayStation version, I think they added like 9 new awards for playing. So for any of you race fans out there that are playing Grid, there's more Chivos and trophies to unlock.
Nice.
All right. So by the way, the WWE 2K21 was the confirmation of that being canceled came from the WWE. So, oh yeah, Jay, our content, Jay, Retro Renegades is not if you have children, if you have small children, hide them during that show. So. I have to wear headphones. I have to definitely wear headphones during that show. So now,
At least you know where they are, and they're at home.
Yeah. Well, this is true. So from WrestlingInc.com, this is where I'm getting this news. WWE interim chief financial officer Frank Riddick was asked during today's Q1 2020 investors call if the video game was in the budget for this year. Riddick said the game will not be released, but did not provide a reason why. So this is not coming from 2K. This is coming from the WWE. So, now, according to a report...
So there could be a game, but just not the licensed one.
Well, a new WWE video game is planned to be released later this year, according to a report. Riddick did not confirm the game, but he wasn't asked about it. So, Leaper, whoever Leaper is, who is this guy? WWE video game writer Justin Leaper said that that 2K will be releasing a different kind of WWE video game this year from a different developer, not Visual Concepts. That's the first time I think I've seen Visual Concepts get dumped on a game. I mean, those are the 2K, that's like NBA, NFL 2K. I mean, those are the masters.
Oh, yeah.
I'm really surprised. I'm really surprised. Now, WWE 2K20 was a disaster, but
Maybe that's why.
Right.
that opens the door. That opens the door for our friends at Retromanias, or RetroSoft Studios. See, I'm rooting for them. So So what else you been playing, John? Since you
Well, like I said, I've been playing Luigi's Mansion. I've been playing some Grid. Of course, I'm playing MLB The Show. I've got one more trophy to get. I got to get to level 100. Right now, I think I'm sitting at level 63. So I need to get to level 100 to get the platinum trophy. So right now, I've been playing the franchise mode, and what's really cool about franchise mode, you can create your character not only in just Road to the Show, but you can also create your character and put it in franchise mode and several other modes, even Diamond Dynasty. So what I've done is I've inserted myself into my New York Yankees lineup. And every time I come out to bat, it says, "Hey, up to bat, John Place," So it's kind of really cool. So I took Luke Voigt out, who is actually the first baseman, and he's a good player. But I thought,
but he's
Luke,
no
you got to
John
go.
Place.
Right, he's no 24. So I'm in. I've taken his spot, and I'm part of the starting lineup now. I've been playing a lot. That game is like crap to me. I can't quit playing. I mean, it's just one of those games that I really enjoy, and I could sit there and play all weekend long, just game after game.
Well, it's not on TV, right? So this is your.
And it's not on TV, so it kind of fills a spot. I can't catch a game. Like I can't watch the Nationals, I can't watch the Reds, I can't watch the Cubs So it's kind of filling a missing spot, right now.
It's really weird to watch. Like for me, the Orioles Twitter feed, and they're simulating games on MLB 20.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
the only thing that's good for those simulated games is my Papa John's gives 50% off if our local teams win. So,
if it wins the esports game. Oh, thank God Frankie's not here right now.
He loves some sports ball.
Oh, he does.
Oh, Daredevil, he wants to know what I thought about that wrestling game. Daredevil, I did download that game on the Switch. I have not had a chance to play it yet this weekend, though, buddy. If you want to play, we'll have to hook up and play some of that wrestling game.
There you go. So, so Peter, what have you been playing?
I've been playing some Sea of Thieves. I bought Minecraft for Windows 10 for like $2.84, which is kind of a steal.
Okay.
And so I fired it up, and the cool thing is that all my DLC or all that stuff is cross. That's crossplay, so you just have to buy the base game then.
Oh wow!
Okay,
which is cool. And let's see, what else have I been playing? I've been playing Sniper Elite 4 with Nate. We still had some co-op missions to finish, so we did that. Good stuff. That was fun.
Nice. Okay, very nice.
I think it's as funny as a testicle shot,
Well, okay. Well,
yeah, those are never good.
No, they're not good.
No, they're not.
Not as the receiving team, but.
Oh yeah. Let's Rochambeau. No, let's not.
The flick of a wrist can render you useless, Peter. Let alone being shot there.
Yeah. Okay, so that said, so
what else? Oh, I've also been playing a little bit of Ori, but that game frustrates me because I finally got past that spider.
You have a love-hate relationship with that game.
So now I'm at the place where you have to, where you're getting chased by that big worm, and you have to dig through the sand. And I hate the mechanics of that, and I failed too many times that I said, forget about it for now.
He said, forget about it. Forget about it. Oh, I have not yet played that game. I have not gotten started on it. And part of it is because I'm afraid to. Because I've been listening to you. And I'm afraid to try to play it.
Fear not. Now, if you have when everything is like in slow motion, you have to, reboot your console and then all will be well. But I didn't have any problems till like later on in the game, so.
Okay. So I have a chance.
So, yeah.
All right. Well, I got to get through. I got to get through the game I just started. So, I was looking for something, anything, and I was gonna start Ori. And I started downloading Yakuza 0, and then I was like, you know what? I haven't played Guacamelee 2 yet, and I started that. So that's what I'm on now, and I'm fairly far. I guess I'm probably a third of the way into it. And it's a game that if you liked Guacamelee 1, you'll love this.
Mm-hmm. Mike, I tell you what, I love Guacamelee 1. And as you know, as you get further along, the game progressively gets harder with your moves.
Yes.
And what becomes like what starts off as kind of like a simple platformer, it actually gets, you got to be on the buttons real quick. And my wife, she was playing it, and I beat the whole game on Guacamelee on the Xbox and played it and thoroughly enjoyed it. But she played it and she got to this one level where you got to dash and swoop down through the air and button. It was just too much for her, and she just had a nervous breakdown. So she put the game up. But yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That takes rage quit.
I don't think she'll play it again. I will. I need to play Guacamelee too, in fact.
So the cool thing about Guacamelee 2 is, and I can't remember this because it's been a while since I played the first Guacamelee. Were you able to transform into a chicken in the first Guacamelee?
Yes.
Okay. So I don't know why I don't remember that, but in this one, of course, the chicken then is back, but they do a little more with it. But what I do really like about this game over the previous are the so you can train. So by leveling up now or learning new moves and getting new abilities is done by trainers, and so and you have to get certain moves down to progress in the game as both your human character and as the chicken. So it adds a lot of element, and what it really reminds me a little bit of is I guess I just come off playing Bloodstained, and it's like faster than Bloodstained, but it kind of I like that 2D shooter or 2D platformer type of game, so it appeals to me. So I'm gonna make my way through that, and I'll probably swing back around to Yakuza 0 or and then come back around to Ori and maybe something else. So I'm trying to get back into a regular playing.
It's got that it's got that Mexican vibe too. It's got that lucha libre. So Daredevil out there, he would like that,
Yeah, you want chips and salsa and stuff,
Right?
I love the soundtrack too. Now that I think of it, the soundtrack it really is. The soundtrack is really good. It's an underappreciated game to me. But again, you have to have liked the first one. If you the first one, you will really like the second. So, but that's so I've been doing that, and then I may or may not have soft modded my original Xbox. May or may not have.
You're talking about modding your Xbox. Did you ever cut out that capacitor for the one for the time?
No, I did not.
Yeah, me neither. Yeah,
I don't remember what if I have the 1.6 or not, but it so far isn't. It's not like smoking or anything like that. So.
What is Daredevil?
Yeah, apparently it leaks, and then it might, short out your board and stuff.
All right, so then I'll pay another $10 to find another Xbox somewhere.
Yeah, you kind of should find one already.
Yeah,
they're still there.
Yeah, they've got. I mean, any. I can get one. I can get one on eBay. I'm pretty sure. So, but it's so far. I've used it to for all the Genesis games that I own, I used it to Genesis emulator. Now I'm going to try to see if I can take my my Sega CDs that are up on the shelf there and turn them into bin and Q files and see if I can get them to work. And that way, I don't want to buy a Polymega, and I don't want to, and I don't want to spend a lot of money. So if I could do that, I legally own the games. So all I have to do is just make bin queues of them, and voila, it should be fine. And I could just FTP them over to the Xbox, which is really cool. So, yes, Born, the Genesis Mini and the Super NES Mini have both been, I believe you can mod them both. So.
Graphic God. Yes, I did hear about the mass shooting. Now, Graphic God, if I'm not mistaken, he's in the Canada area, the Nova Scotia area, somewhere around there. I think that's what he's talking about, because I'm a big fan of the Oak Island TV show. And I saw something about they had a shooting in Nova Scotia recently, so I'm sure that's what he's talking about.
I did not see that.
Oh, also, Jay, in 2 weeks, I need to get with you. I need a graphical avatar made up, an animated one, for a couple things and a side of mine. So in a couple weeks, I need to find out what's the best way to get with you or chat with you and party chat or something, and kind of tell you what I'd like to get, if that's all right.
Cool. Oh, wow. The biggest mass shooting in Canadian history. I'm very sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
Okay, so getting to our topics for today. It's gonna it'll be a shorter show than usual because there's only 3 of us, but we do have some topics to talk about, some stuff going on. And the first one up. Let's see how this looks.
Drum roll.
And that looks all right. Okay, so actually, before we get to our first topic, of course, I got to remember to start getting this in before we actually get into our topics. It's like right after the introductions, we have to do the yes. So this week's show is sponsored by John
Mentos.
It doesn't matter what comes, fresh goes better in life. With Mentos fresh and full of life, nothing gets to you. Staying fresh, staying cool. With Mentos fresh and full of life, fresh goes better. Mentos fresh, fresh goes better with Mentos fresh and full of life. Mentos, the fresh maker.
Yeah.
Now, here's what's funny about that commercial. If you really watch it,
Right.
if you really watch the commercial, and when she calls the big, the big construction workers over, you saw the guy there losing his tie, like, I'm gonna get my ass kicked. They're coming in here to break me, and then they pick up her car, her little Mr. Bean car, and put it down. And he's like, oh yeah, thank you for not coming in here and whipping my ass.
I'm telling you, Mike, these retro commercials, man, they really kill me, man. They crack me up and get the tears rolling.
Oh my goodness. Well, it was nothing like ring pops, I'll tell you that. That yeah. So
They popped.
yeah. So anyway, that is our product of the week, courtesy of John. So all right. Now let's get to what we're supposed to get to. So first up on the ballot, Red Dead Redemption 2. Big game coming to Game Pass. This is now the second game for Rockstar. I mean, if you remember, after they put Grand Theft Auto 5 in to PS Now, then they brought it over to Game Pass, and so here we go with Red Dead Redemption 2. And hey, and later on, it's interesting because when we talk about NPD later, this game's up on it. So it's a very usually a game like this you're kind of waiting for a long time for sales to kind of dip down, but sales haven't really, it's a hot selling game still a little bit, and yet here it is coming up on Game Pass.
Mike, I've got a dirty little secret. I've had this game since it launched, and I have not played it yet.
Just keep your expectations in check, and you will enjoy it.
Yeah. So
my expectations were like super high, and I was disappointed.
Yeah,
Not that it's like a real bad game, but it's like it's. I thought it would
It's
be
weird,
better.
sometimes games just don't, especially when there's multiple games, sometimes there's different renditions we like more. And, just like movies, sometimes we like the second movie more than the first, and the third movie is usually horrible, or, so
Yeah.
I guess it's just up to the individual. Yeah.
Now, with this, hey Ainsley, quick shout out, man, to Season Gaming. Hey, my shirt's on its way. Ainsley and Dan had me on the Bitcast on Saturday over at Season Gaming. We had one hell of a time, and so Ainsley's been on our show, and he's going to come back. We're going to get Dan on here. We're going to have a really fun time. It was, just awesome conversation, and I just had a wonderful time hanging out with them and talking games, and it was just really cool. So I want to give them a quick shout. So anyway, John, don't worry. I played like an hour of it myself and was done. Hold A to
left
horse.
the snow.
No, I got it. No, I got out of the snow, but hold A to horse, and that was really. I'm with you, man. I wasn't, and maybe it's my.
I finished it though.
I know you did. You powered through it. You have my respect because you powered through it really nicely.
It has some great moments. It's just like in between those moments, it's like a very long, dull moments.
Right.
Kind of kills the mojo.
Right. It's got great moments, but outside of those moments, it sucked.
Sometimes, like depending on my work schedule, like I've been like extremely busy lately. So, and I love huge games. Don't get me wrong.
It's a huge game.
But sometimes, there's those moments or those periods of months where you just want something where you're not too involved in, or something you can kind of play at your own pace, and instead of taking on a big story, it just kind of depends though.
Well, and look, Rockstar's known for that. Dave's asking you, do you agree with him that after it ended, it should have went into a remastered version of Red Dead 1?
I loved 1. 1 was good.
Okay.
I don't know. I like the once you play the story, it's done. You had a multiplayer. We had some fun nights with that.
We did have some fun nights with the first multiplayer.
I think that's one of the first few games that I streamed for NLG way back when. That's one.
Yeah, because I think you streamed it while I played it, and then if you remember Western Drake, he did the story mode.
Western Drake, correct.
I had a good time. I had a good time with that. And it could just very well be that I had that beginning was just so harsh. The beginning in the snow just turned me off to it. I could never get myself back in the mood for it, and could be. Could be my fault. I can take responsibility for it. But so here's how this works. So Red Dead Redemption 2 is coming on May 7th. Incidentally, that's the last day that Grand Theft Auto 5 will be in, so it's almost like a game swap. So, now you can use your mobile app so that you can remote install it at work and have it ready for you when you get home if you haven't already gotten it. So, and look, the Game Pass Ultimate is still, you still get the first month for $1. So,
Wow.
And that's where I found Guacamelee too. So, again, I will continue to die on the hill that Game Pass is probably one of the best deals in gaming today. This is my opinion. So much to be able to play, and now you'll get to play Red Dead 2 if you don't already have it. So, plus you could play the new Sea of Thieves stuff too, since that's in Game Pass.
True.
So I say Game Pass, and John goes from smile to frown. Look at him.
You know me. I don't know what it is with me. I don't know. I just like buying my games. I pay full price, and
Well, but I mean, if you
that's
only have a dollar to spare, and that's all you
that's
got,
just what makes me
that's
tick,
the-
man.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with Game Pass or any of those. It's just services and streaming. Not for me. Just give me my games. Let me purchase them. Let me hug my consoles, man. I'm happy.
All right. In the meantime, I downloaded Guacamelee and I'm playing it. So, all right. So, no, I don't even buy games anymore because you know what? Why? Eventually, it's like why I haven't bought Doom Eternal yet. I'll get through these set of games that I'm playing on.
Well,
Game
don't
Pass
tell the
now.
developers that. They'll stop making them.
Oh, please.
No, they put them in Game Pass day long.
Exactly.
I don't buy any games anymore.
No. I'll let Mike. Hey, you know what? I'll let Microsoft pay Epic to put it in Game Pass, and I'll pay Microsoft my $15 a month, and they'll all be happy, and I'll play Doom Eternal, and eat Welch's fruit snacks, and Mentos.
Yeah.
Fruit snacks.
So, then Dave says he usually pre-orders everything. So
Yeah. Shout out to Dave, my tag team partner.
that's all right. So Bourne says I'm not a PC gamer, so I don't need Ultimate. Well, I mean, the only reason to get Ultimate's not just for PC. Ultimate gives you Game Pass plus Live, so it's just a bundle for both. So anyway, so that's the big it's really kind of the big Xbox news. I mean, what else is really going on this week? It's been like I know Phil's on Twitter telling everybody we're gonna get games soon, but until then, it's kind of quiet.
Yeah. Other than the Nintendo Switch getting hacked, kind of.
Yeah.
Having
Oh, yeah.
issues
What the hell
with
is
that,
up with
yeah.
that? So we'll make that the second piece. And I'll let you go on that, John, since you found that that article.
Well, I guess, yeah, with all the, and this is really a bad time it's never a good time, but I guess these hackers and perpetrators right now, a lot of people are at home playing video games, and a lot of people can't go to work, or they're working from home, or they may be laid off, so they're kind of playing video games for enjoyment, trying to get through this period of this coronavirus. But you always got someone that's going to rock the boat and run it for everybody. And evidently, there are idiots out there that are accessing accounts and stealing PayPal funds linked to the Nintendo eShop. And once they've taken these funds from people, they are spending it on things like Fortnite's virtual bucks, and they're spending on hundreds of dollars worth of other games. So Nintendo is recommending that all Nintendo Switch users use the double verification, and there's some steps outlined. I don't have them in order, but I'm sure if you go online, you can find out what those steps are, and they walk you through the process of having the double authentication process. That way it ensures that your funds are safe and helps prevent these bastards from taking your money.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable, though.
Yeah,
huh?
there's an article on Nintendo's customer support as to how to set up your two-factor Well, two-step verification. Those of us who are IT guys, we tend to call it two-factor authentication or multi-factor authentication. But yeah, sign into go to the account website, sign into your Nintendo account because you got to do this online. So we'll help you out right now. Sign in to your security settings, scroll down to two-step verification, click edit, click your settings. It'll send you an email with a verification code. Put that verification code in and click submit. Now, from here, you install an authenticator app. So that authenticator app can either be Google Authenticator or Microsoft Authenticator. Either one will work. Actually, to be honest with you, any authenticator that takes a barcode will work. So download an authenticator, scan the QR code that comes up on the screen.
Otherwise it gets confusing.
Yeah, dude, yeah, just stick with one. I've got Google Authenticator.
And message to Twitch, you suck because they use whatever it is, Authy or...
Oh, they use Authy, right.
Yeah. The only one.
I hate Authy. It's horrible.
Yeah.
So, and then once you put your code in, then you're good to go. Now, you'll get a list of backup codes. These are your codes that you get that in case you lose your phone or something happens, you kind of get some backup codes. Take those, put them into either a Word document and save them on your machine, write them down somewhere, or get a KeyPass software and store them. So
another thing you can do is save that image with the barcode. Either print it out or save it to,
Oh, yeah, that's true,
external piece, whatever, your external hard drive that you keep unplugged and just as another backup. It's also handy for having two machines syncing the same codes.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a very good point. So
look at everything. Enable two-factor authentication or multi-factor authentication, please.
On everything you
or
possibly
for anything,
can.
Everything and anything where it's available.
On anything you can.
Your YouTube, your Twitter, your Twitch, your anything.
Yeah. Twitter's hard because you're on it so much, but how many people are getting their Twitters hacked? So
but
it kind of reminds me.
We have to say trust this device and you'll be good for either forever or for a very long time.
Right.
It's like we have natural disasters and hurricanes, and it's the same type of people that go looting stores in a time of when things aren't normal or there's catastrophes going on. It's the same type of individuals that like to do that kind of stuff. It's pretty sad, really.
Yeah. The other thing to do is to create yourself a very complex password, a long, complex password. And there's actually ways you can do that it's complex to people trying to hack a password, but it's easy for you to remember. I have a 23-character password that I use, and I rotate that password amongst all of my stuff. But I know what that password is, and I can type it in every time on every site. But no one in the world that would read it would know what the hell it is. And there's ways that you can create that out of phrases and a page out of your favorite book that you could create a password on. My company CEO showed us this entire method of creating these crazy passwords. But again, I don't need to write it down. I don't need to know what I don't have it listed anywhere. I know what those passwords are in every place. So that's another great way to keep your account from getting hacked. Right. The days of using password 01, those should be gone. or using HTK 123. You should never use that as your password. Especially if you're not HTK.
I don't know how long this has been going on, Michael, but where I got this article from the Deseret News or whatever, Ann Wallace, this article was back in April 21st of this year. So I don't know when this actually started. So just users beware, if you're a Switch owner, like Peter and Mike said, I'd make sure you got the multi-authentication going on. It
might be a good idea with the passwords, again, to change all of them. If you've got Xbox, change your Xbox Live password. If you've got PSN, change your PSN password. Change your, all the just change them. You don't necessarily have to rotate them, but change them and make them huge. So, and unlink your PayPal. Don't keep, like, if you don't have to keep a credit card on file, don't. If you don't have to, if you don't have to keep a credit card for your PlayStation account, don't do it. All right, those are the other surefire ways of all it takes is for someone to jump in and boom, they've got your credit card. So
also, it is better to use your credit card versus your debit card, because if the credit card companies are insured and you can get that taken care of, but sometimes they get a hold of your debit card, they can devastate you, and then you have no money to pay your bills.
Yep.
And whatnot.
Yeah, they can wipe you out. So
yeah.
Hey, man, I tell you, people suck. People just suck. So
they need to be pile driven, or the DDT, or the FU. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. All right, so next up on the docket, this is gonna be a quick fire show, because really, how much? I'll drop kick them all. So. Oh my goodness. All right. Next up for discussion, we are going to, it's been a while since we've done this too, guys. We have not done an NPD in a long time. And I'm actually going to turn, let me get up what I need to get up here. I'm going to turn this over to Peter. And Peter is going to run us through the top 20 for March NPD, courtesy of VentureBeat. This is where I get this from.
Yeah, look at number 1. Animal Crossing New Horizons. It just got released and all the way to the top. I think it's one of those... well, I think this goes hand in hand also with the hardware that like Nintendo Switch sold like hotcakes, and, probably... for a couple of reasons. One of them is, people are now at home and they want a device. Another reason is like they're in short supply, and anything, if it's in short supply, people create hype and people want to buy that stuff.
Right. So that does not include digital. Yeah, sorry, Cooper. That does not include digital. Anything with a asterisk does not include digital sales.
That is correct.
It's amazing.
And Animal Crossing, I mean, it's a easy to play game for everyone. And you really need one copy per one Switch. So maybe that's another reason why the hardware sold well and this game sold well, because it's not multi-user on one device friendly.
Didn't I read somewhere that Elijah Wood's in this game?
No, he was. Basically, what happened is you can buy turnips, I think. It's like, you buy them low and sell them high kind of thing.
You can always tell Elijah Wood, he's got them big eyeballs.
Yeah.
He was amazing in Sin City.
If somebody has like an island where they are worth a lot, you can invite other people to your island and they can sell their turnips for a huge profit. So somebody posted that Elijah Wood said, "Hey, can I join your island?" And apparently he was very polite and
very polite.
Also get some fruit from the trees.
And Hollywood actors coming in and horning in on regular folks' turnips.
Yeah.
Well,
save a turnip, ride a cowboy.
Oh my!
Things like that happen after you've had 3 or 4 beers. They just
I see that. So Ainsley says it sold 10 million copies already.
Man, that's
10 million copies in less than a month. It's just pretty hot.
Yeah. Wow.
So on number 2, Call of Duty Modern Warfare, which is kind of funny too, because they also have the free Warzone component. It doesn't include all the other modes, so but it's Call of Duty. Call of Duty always sells good. It's a pretty good game. Wish you could turn off crossplay in Warzone because there are too many PC hackers out there. Just, even if you have 1 in 50, and every game has 50 players, you always have one PC cheat in there, and that kind of ruins the whole thing. At least on PlayStation, you can turn off the crossplay. On the Xbox, I think you can do it too, but then you turn off crossplay for every other game. Basically, you turn it off on the Xbox Live settings that you don't want to play outside Xbox Live.
Peter,
So I
it
don't
depends
know
on like what I'm playing. Like my friend from work, Jake Malloy, he plays on PC, and
Right.
I've got
I
some
mean,
other people, and so that works good in
I
different
play with
modes.
PC
Like
too, and it's like if you don't have any cheaters, same thing with Sea of Thieves. I mean, I
right,
met a whole bunch of great people, and they were playing on PC, but
right.
every
I
time you
think they're
play, you
hitting that
find one
Warzone
asshole, and
mode.
that kind of ruins the whole thing.
Oh yeah. It seems like they flock to these new game modes though. Like I noticed, like if you play crossplay, like in the team deathmatch, like the 10v10, you don't notice that as much. But if you go to Warzone, you see some kind of funny things that are unexplained, But
Right. Yes.
it's a shame, but I don't know. I guess it seems like you always have that with these shooters.
Yeah. So I wish you could just do crossplay between consoles. I mean, probably have people that are exploiting and stuff, but it's not as crazy as and easy as it is on PC.
Right.
So and then on number 3, MLB The Show. I mean, as you could tell from John, it's like it's a fantastic game. Also with no baseball on TV.
Right.
I mean, you have to create your own content. So there it is. I mean, it's a fantastic game.
Yeah.
Fourth place, Resident Evil 3. I have not played it, but apparently they've fixed the Xbox performance issues. It's running decent now, so it's all good. Fifth place, NBA 2K20. Once again, no live sports, so you have to create your own game. It's always doing well too. So number 6, Doom Eternal. I have not played it. I don't really like the platforming that they have going on right now. So, but if it goes into Game Pass or some other cheap means, I might play it and check it out for myself. But for me, it's not worth my time. It's not my bang for the buck right now.
Yeah, me neither. And it's going to come to Game Pass at some point.
Yeah.
So.
And then we have Persona 5 Royal. Don't know too much about the game.
Me either.
Oh, that's a fantastic game. That Peter, actually, just to put my little 2-minute plug in, that I haven't got the Royal, but I played Persona 5. I still have like a couple trophies to get, but I spent hours playing that game, and I had never played a Persona game until the 5th one. And,
okay. Isn't it on Game Pass? Persona 5? Or was it a different game?
That's a PlayStation only game.
Oh.
But it's an amazing turn-based RPG. Like I said, I like RPGs are like one of my favorite genres of games, and from the Witcher, the Witcher series, the Elder Scrolls, anything RPG related, I love. Persona 5 is really awesome. It's a turn-based, and it's really awesome, and the artwork in the game is just phenomenal, and the characters. Each one of the characters in the game, it's not just the gameplay, man. It's the characters. I'm not sure who wrote, but just phenomenal. You get attached to these characters, and the game's amazing. So, I guess this Royale version, includes more outfits, more characters, missions, things of that nature. I don't know if I'll get it because I've got so many other games to play, but I guess if you haven't played it yet, that would probably be kind of like the Ultimate Edition, so that might be worthwhile for someone to get, you know.
Yeah, it's got apparently new locations, has a grappling hook. Yeah, it's looks like it's just a upgraded version.
Right.
Nice.
So
8th place, GTA 5.
how
Like nobody has that game.
It's
How?
it's still
Now,
there.
I
know.
don't have it, but how?
It won't go away.
And then it's in Game Pass and PS Now. It's
know.
it's in the services for the two largest companies, and it is still number 8
And
on
it's
the list.
still in the NPDs. People are still buying the darn thing.
See, that's why we don't have a GTA 6 because people keep on buying 5. It's like they're rolling in dough. It's like they don't have to do anything.
Right.
Well, they keep adding the multiplayer stuff. They keep on adding content.
I still think
So they definitely keep that going.
I still think I would love to see the attach rate for that game to new console sales, because I still think people are buying either, an Xbox One or a PS4, and that's one of the first games they're getting with it. It's got to be.
They're probably buying multiple copies too, Mike. I bet you $1 million that people are buying more than one. I bet there's multiple copies being bought by one individual. I mean, for their different systems. You know.
Some guy, the CFO of Rockstar. I mean,
right.
I'm looking. I mean, the Grand Theft Auto, and does that count the premium edition? I mean, it's literally $30 for the standard edition at GameStop, and it's $20. It's $18.99 pre-owned, and then
Mike, I played that on the Xbox One. What year did it come out?
Yeah,
a lot of times passed. What year?
2015, maybe, because it was out on the 360.
Yeah,
right.
It was out on
they had it on the 360, and then it came out with a
remaster.
Remaster.
Yeah, the premium edition on Xbox One's $30. $30. I mean, the attach rate. Hey, Sobski, what's up? And Duke Togo 13, welcome. I believe we have a new person in the room. So welcome, and hope you're enjoying the show. So
now I gotta say one thing, Mike. I will say this: Michael, one of the characters in Grand Theft Auto 5, him and Trevor. I absolutely love Trevor, but Michael, there was that one scene where he's doing the yoga, and there's that yoga instructor's cheating with his wife, on him with his wife, and he's doing the yoga, and you had to do the exercises. That was hilarious, and the guy had the man bun. So there were some memorable moments in that game, just the storyline.
Sobski thinks we're going to see a GTA 6 trailer next year, and it'll come out in 2023. You know what it'd be? It'd be the
Can you imagine what they can do on the next gen consoles?
Gosh. You know what's going to happen. I'm telling you.
It's a ray tracing and stuff, and
I guess Grand Theft Auto does what Destiny doesn't. Remember, Destiny said that they were going to have the game that lasted 10 years?
Right.
Yeah.
I think Grand Theft Auto did that, Destiny.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking it up because I can't remember exactly when it came out, but it was not long. It's been a couple of years at least. So it came out. So let's see. It wasn't. Was it? This says September 17th, 2013. It was no. That had to have been the Xbox 360 version and the PS3 version. Hold on, I got to see when. PC version came out in 2015. Okay, the PS4 and Xbox One versions. See, where's Project Jeff when we need him? Our encyclopedia in the chat.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I played it on Xbox One, Michael. That's
were
Grand
released.
Theft Auto. I played on Xbox One.
So the PS4 and Xbox One versions were released on November 18th, 2014. So 15, 16, 17, 18. It's 6 years old.
Yeah.
It's going to be
Yeah.
6 years old.
And still in the NPDs.
And still in the NPDs. That is crazy.
Yeah, that's nuts.
It's lasting longer than the console cycles.
Yes.
Go
My
figure.
goodness. You know what's going to happen? Everybody's going to they're going to tout the SSD no load time.
Yeah.
Right.
Nice. All right, number 9, Borderlands 3. I haven't
Surprising.
played it.
I have not
What
either.
do
I haven't played
Have you
it
played
either.
it, John?
No, I all that when there was that whole debacle about what's his name, Randy.
Brandy Pitchford.
Yeah, Pitchford and all that controversy and stuff like that, whether it was true or not. I just and I'm a huge Borderlands fan, but I decided not to get it right away. And then a couple of my friends were playing it, and I watched some people's takes on it and reviews, and they just, it didn't seem to make the same impact the first two did. Maybe it's kind of wearing on some people. I don't know. Sometimes, when you go with the same idea for a while, things get kind of old and stale. So maybe that game's at that point. But I played the first two and loved him. Handsome Jack was great in Borderlands 2. Love that
He's
guy.
such a good villain.
Yeah, awesome guy. Yeah.
So,
Not a game still. Oh,
sorry.
Go ahead.
Daredevil Dave said, "Stupid question. What is NPD?" It's not a stupid question. If you're not used to it, NPD. These are the top 20 games that sold for a particular month, and sold by dollar amount. Used to be by unit sales, but now it's how much money it actually made. So we have no idea how many actual copies of the game were sold, but we just know how much money it made the developers. So, sorry, Peter. Proceed, sir.
Oh yeah, no problem. And number 10, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I mean,
Man.
Yes.
you buy a Switch, and that's kind of one of the default games you need to buy.
Yes,
Right?
it's got to be a 1-to-1 attach
And that's
rate.
So that's probably why it's doing well too. I mean,
your sexy new background on Skype too.
oh, yeah, there you go. Oh, wrong way. Hey,
There you go.
it's almost like watching tennis, but
Just
number 11,
reverse.
Neo 2.
Neo 2,
I
I
have
have.
not played any Neo, so
So I played through part of Neo
any
1.
better than
Oh, I've got that game, guys. The first one I got the platinum on, but I like the Souls type games, and Neo was very. I don't know how the difficulty level is on the second one. I've heard different people say different things, but that is a game I'm definitely going to be getting into. But that's going to take up a lot of time once I start playing. But they are good games. They're very unforgiving games.
Yeah, that Neo is a very unforgiving game at times.
It's kind of one of those get good games, the saying, so very unforgiving.
Peter?
number 12, Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yep, and there it is.
There it is. 13, FIFA 20. People love some soccer, or
It's amazing that they like it
as you
here.
say across the pond, football.
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 Number 14, Super Mario Smash Brothers.
Another.
Man, I can't get into that game, man. My stepson goes to Evo and all the fighting game stuff competitions, and he loves Killer Instinct. He competes in that. He competes in Mortal Kombat. He loves Killer Instinct. He's really good at that, and he also does the Smash Bros and stuff like that. I can't get into it. It's just like an all-out like button mashing. I don't know what it is about the game. I mean, there's some appeal to it because you got all these different characters, but there's something about just that button smashing to no end. It's like there's no uniformity. It's not graceful like a Virtua Fighter 5 or a Tekken or a game like that. But people love it though. Just not my cup of tea.
Right.
Sobsky says football is the correct name for the sport.
Let's see. Number 15, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. I don't know anything about Pokemon. I don't really care for it.
Dave
you,
said I
John?
got to get good if I want to be his partner
Mm.
in Smash Bros. I'll do it, Dave. I'll do
16, we have Madden NFL 20. Once again, yeah, we have to create our own football content.
Now, also too, NFL 20 and Madden NFL 20 is free to play right now on the Xbox. The free to play days. So I guess I don't know. It's just it's Madden is we're way off season, so I am surprised that Madden's still up there.
it. Yeah.
Let's see. 17, Just Dance 2020.
Oh, what are your favorite games?
Only with
Just
Kinect,
Dance.
though. Only
Only
with
with
Kinect.
Kinect.
Otherwise, it's like, what the heck?
Hey.
How can you play that game without a Kinect? That makes no sense.
Look, I'm dancing. Dancing.
Yeah.
Dancing.
Shake your phone. It's like, how do you know if you... Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
18, Star Wars, Jedi Fallen Order.
Which I have not played yet.
I have not played that one either. Hopefully it comes into, what's it called? The EA's...
Yeah, where is that? Where is that in EA Access? It didn't come to the free preview, so I didn't get it yet.
Mortal Kombat 11 at number 19. And at number 20, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 Remastered.
Wow, snuck in there.
Isn't that the one too that
Which is just that's right now just on PlayStation.
right?
That's just campaign too.
Coming to
Campaign
Xbox
only.
on end of the month, I believe.
Oh, so it is coming to the Xbox.
Yes.
I wasn't sure.
There's also rumors, Mike, of Modern Warfare 3. That's going to be another timed exclusive PS4, but that'll be coming to Xbox as well. But I know that they're both campaign versions, which I'd still like to play. I don't know if I would. I don't know. I mean, I love both those games, but I don't know if I'd buy them. But, you know, to go through the campaign, if they're priced reasonably, I might pick them up.
It's time for Activision or to give that crap up. Just
Yeah.
you know it.
We've had so many versions of Call of Duties to go back and like, don't get me wrong, I don't mind remastered or remakes, but at some point, I mean, you got to let a dead horse lie and move on. I mean, we all love these games, but you know, it's like the movies today. You know, a lot of times we get all these remasters and remakes. I would rather have new IP, new ideas, or at least moving on with the series, you know. I mean, those games came out a long time ago.
Yeah, I don't think Treyarch or Infinity Ward. I don't know if they're capable. I mean, you know,
I don't know either. Yeah.
You know, I mean, look, this is what's funny too. People complain about certain studios being, you know, just that studio. You know, we get all that from, you know, 343 Eyes, Halo, and the Coalition is Gears of War, and you hear, why don't you let those guys make a new IP? How come nobody says that about Treyarch and Infinity Ward? Like, no one has said, hey, why don't you let Infinity Ward make a new type of game? No, they all wait for Call of Duty to come out, and it's number 2 on the charts, you know, 7 months after it releases.
Well, you know how it is, Mike. Everybody says, oh, I'm not getting it, but they cave in. I'm telling you right now, these developers, as long as you keep buying these games, they're going to keep making them. It's kind of like I don't know. It's like I don't know. It's like all the free to play games that really aren't free to play that have all these, you
Yeah.
know, hidden things for purchasing. I did that with the Neverwinter game on Xbox. Actually, I kind of got in trouble with the wife on that one.
Wow.
You know, I got it and I played it. It was free to play, and I'm sitting playing on my Xbox One, Dungeons and Dragons Neverwinter. I thought, oh man, this is cool. So I get to the point where I get through all the storyline and I rank up to level 50, and I'm going on these raids through the dungeons or whatnot. And then all of a sudden, they've got these little packs you can buy where you get a chance of winning something. You get a chance of winning an awesome piece of armor or this and that. Well, before you know it, I'm sitting there and debit card left and right, just
Ooh.
spending money left and right. Well, I didn't realize it, but my wife, she got a thing. We got a bank statement or whatever, and I had like spent $400 in 2 weeks
Yeah, wow.
on Neverwinter.
No parental controls, huh?
No parental
But I liked the game that much, but they made it too easy, man. It was like candy. I couldn't quit. It's like I've got a problem, I need to
Yep.
get help.
Well, Duke Togo's
but
with you.
if gamers keep buying these remasters, that's what the developers are going to give you. If your money talks, if you stop buying them, they're probably not going to sell them because it's a waste of time. So I don't know. I think we need to move on.
Ain't no one gonna stop buying them. But
No, I know.
Duke Togo says that moment in time when a free-to-play game all of a sudden becomes a $150 game. We've all been there, brother.
Oh yeah.
So
It's like the Gears of War, like that one. I can't remember which one it was, man, but they had all the crazy like skins for the Lancers and everything. They had that rainbow one and the graphical ones that are doing things, the animated ones. I couldn't quit buying those stupid skins, but I had to have them all the different colors, all the different variations, the tiger stripes. But in the end, it didn't change the game for me. I was just out a bunch of money with pretty looking guns.
it's never good. It's never good. So, thank you, Peter. I think I'm bestowing this on you every month.
All right.
I'll put the list together, and I'll give you a little
over it,
and we'll go over it. Right. So, all right. So next up on the docket, look, news on this news on the game front has been a little scarce this week. We all know that news, to be quite honest, for PlayStation 5 has been scarce. Much to, folks like us, we want to know when stuff is coming. We want to see the PlayStation 5. We want to see the games. We want to know what's going on. And right now, we're getting a steady stream of that from Microsoft. We're not getting a steady stream of that at all from Sony. And, couple that with, and I think this is where, Sony's quietness, I think, is hurting them at the moment for a couple of reasons. Number one, they're not out there talking much about the PS5. They put the controller out, and that was okay, but they did it kind of on a blog post. You had the Mark Cerny, whatever that was, the press conference, the GDC conference. And we know that Godfall is a launch title. But beyond that, there's not a lot. There's not a lot that's going on. We don't even know what it looks like. And I'm not one, and we're not one, typically for talking about rumors and things like that. But when Bloomberg puts something out in their technology page, you kind of take a look. And there is a report out of Bloomberg in their technology section, not in their gaming section. It's not written by some gaming journalist, blah, 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 that Sony is planning on producing, quote, far fewer units of its upcoming PlayStation 5 in its first year than it had for the previous generation console's launch. The tech giant is limiting its initial production run in part because it expects the PS5's ambitious specs to weigh on demand by leading to a high price at launch. The global pandemic, COVID-19 pandemic, has affected Sony's promotional plans for the new device, but not its production capacity. Now, I will say this, and it goes without saying, but I'm going to say it anyway. Anytime you see the words "according to people familiar with the matter" and asking not to be identified because the subject is private, you take it with a grain of salt. And if this was, Kotaku, I wouldn't even bring it up. Up. But it's Bloomberg. and again, this is not a gaming magazine. So,
well, Mike, after reading this article, I agree. Like, I like all the consoles. Of course, I'm a big Sony fan with my games. I like the games. But some of the stuff they're doing, here it is. We're almost going on May here. And this is just an honest opinion for me. These consoles launch in a few months. And I know there's been a lot of things going on, but you're right. They haven't been very transparent with things. Xbox has done a much better job of, giving us a preview of what their console looks like, of things to come. Their message is clear. It's not confusing.
Which is
it's almost kind of like, right? It's almost kind of like it's almost like a 2013 launch reverse kind of deal.
Right.
Not quite, but because the launch isn't here yet. But now, as far as Bloomberg's the article, there may be some truth that I don't know what all this coronavirus with production numbers. I mean, Xbox and PlayStation both could suffer a little bit from this. I don't know if this is going to drive up the prices of the components, which is in turn going to make us have to pay more for the consoles that we want. I definitely would like to see Sony be a little more forthcoming with their stuff. I don't know if this is a deal with Jim Ryan taking over. I don't know much about him. I like Mr. Layden real well. I was real comfortable with him. I thought he was very personable. At the end of the day, I love the Sony games though, man. They're exclusives. They knocked it out of the park this last generation.
Yes,
so at the end of the day, if you look at the Switch, even the Switch is selling like gangbusters, and me, you, and Peter, sometimes you can't even explain it. It's just selling. And there's a chance that the Switch, after it's all said and done in a few years, it may surpass the PlayStation 4. As far as unit sales, there's a possibility. But people buy that Switch for the game. So at the end of the day, the company that provides the games that gamers want and provides them hours of entertainment, that's the company that's going to do well. But yeah, I wish Sony, I'm not like disappointed, but I'm not real excited about the way they're handling things. They're not really promoting their console in a good manner right now. Which you got to question things, even for someone like me that does like the Sony brand. I just being honest as a gamer, you got to question and think, what are they doing? Because it doesn't make good business sense. This whole last generation you've dominated, and now you're just going to let it all squander away. I don't get that. What I would do if I was the company, if you're ahead like that, you want to keep that momentum going into the next generation. You certainly don't want all these little stumbling blocks that they're having. But that's an honest opinion from me.
Well, sure.
Yeah.
Peter, let me get you in before I say anything, because I actually had part of this conversation with Ainsley and Dan on the Bitcast on Saturday. So some people might already know my thoughts on this, so I want to get yours first.
I mean, it's, I think I've said it all along. It seems like they're fumbling. They're fumbling a little bit with their messaging and stuff, and instead of just coming out. Well, would the consoles come out, and will they be more expensive? I don't know. I mean, the hardware should be pretty much done. I mean, China is starting to ramp up production, factories opening up and stuff. So I don't really see an issue down there, or at least not yet. Maybe for, I don't know, certain components. The PlayStation SSD might, since that's kind of a very specific type of flavor. That might be in short supply. I don't know. It'll be interesting.
So, Nikub said, "Patience is a virtue. It's April." But so I want to take you. Here's the difference, though. The difference is by April, both companies showed at least their with the Xbox One and PS4, you saw at least what the console looks like. For better or for worse, you got the Xbox One kind of TV display. I think what is starting to concern people is that there is there's nothing coming out. Like you got the DualSense, and then you got Mark Cerny that I can't even. It really, most people didn't even. I really didn't even know what he said. Even the PlayStation people. So to be in a position now to where you're hearing and so I said this on the Bitcast. The difference in messaging right now to me is the difference in who's leading each company. In 2013, you had not just Sean Layden. Did you have Sean Layden in 2013? I can't remember if he came out or not. Because the only person I remember
Jack Tretton
was Jack Tretton.
He did the mic drop, yeah.
Jack Tretton really set Sony on that path to dominance. I mean, the product itself was good, but come on, Sony did not have a stable of first-party games at launch. They relied on their third parties to carry them until their first parties caught up, which is a whole separate, cycle issue.
Right.
Not issue, but a cycle discussion. But Jack Tretton, with that big PlayStation loves used games, PlayStation loves indies, that whole thing in the background, and getting everybody whipped up into a frenzy without even saying the name Xbox. He defined the Xbox One before Microsoft could do it, and Microsoft went first. That's how powerful Jack Tretton was. And then you had, Sean Layden, because guys like Jim Ryan are guys you don't want talking to the public. He's just not. You don't want him out there talking to the press. We've seen what happens when he goes out there and talks to the press. Ain't pretty. He is his we're not doing Minecraft crossplay for the children was like the Don Matrick. If you are in a submarine, we have a console for you. You don't want Jim out there. Andrew House was the European guy. Andrew was very abrasive. I didn't like him at all. They quickly pivoted to Sean Layden. Sean Layden was fantastic. I mean, he was down to earth. He was his message and his delivery was astounding. you know, and they're all gone. Andrew House, Sean's gone. Kaz Hiraya's gone. Shuhei Yoshida was demoted.
Right, he's in charge of the indies now, or
I personally
with those
think,
developers.
I personally think, he should have taken over, the whole worldwide studios thing, but he's been demoted, and really all you have left is honestly Jim Ryan. And
Mike, if you look at these consoles, if you think back about it, even though the PlayStation 3 came back, just for shits and giggles, I'll just simplify it. The Xbox 360, in my opinion, was more successful for the most of the generation. Mm-hmm. It seems like these consoles between Xbox and PlayStation, it seems like they go back and forth every generation.
Yeah, of course they do.
It's and that's kind of good. It's good. Xbox had it pretty rough in 2013. There were some things that Matrix said that didn't help them. But Matrix also did some good things, so I don't want to take everything away from. But there were some things that happened with that launch that just was really hard to come back from. And you're kind of seeing similar things from Sony, just reversed. But in a way, I guess it's kind of good that it's kind of like keeping balance in the force, kind of. You know what I mean?
Well,
instead of having one gaming company being a monopoly, you are seeing. And Jim Ryan, he said something really weird a long time ago when he first got his position. He said when he was put into that position, something that has been sticking with me. He said that it's really hard after you've been successful in the previous gen. He said the reason why I was hired was to try to keep things going, not become complacent, because it's real hard to carry that on into the next generation. It's even more hard when you're successful. Kind of like that old stigma, like if you're it's lonely at the top, mm-hmm. It's real hard. But so far since he's been in, I mean, I haven't seen him not be complacent. I mean, in fact, in my opinion, and I love the Sony games and stuff, and I plan on getting the console day one, no question, but they do seem complacent to me. So what he was hired to be put in to do, I'm not seeing him really do that.
Well, part of that
just
too
is just a thought.
Part of that too is the cycle. I mean, look, right. The Last of Us 2 is coming out sometime soon. Naughty Dog's not going to have a game. Naughty Dog's not going to have a game at launch. Sony Santa Monica doesn't appear to have a game at launch. Godfall is the only launch game we know about that's not even made by Sony. I mean, Guerrilla Games, Horizon Zero Dawn 2 may not be there at launch. We don't know, but we don't know. We haven't heard anything other than, and again, so taking that role, Matrix, and such. You had so many people opening up their mouth in 2013. Don Matrick would say something, then Phil Spencer would say something else, Shannon Loftus would say something else. Who was the guy who did the TV part? He would say something else, and their whole messaging was just bizarre. Not to mention, apparently their stuff wasn't fleshed out. So now that Phil is the leader, the messaging has come down to three people. For better or for worse, it's himself, it's Phil Spencer, it's Larry Herb, and it's Aaron Greenberg. Those are your three mouthpieces, and that's it. You get a little bit on Xbox, inside Xbox from Graham and stuff like that, but he's not out there doing. Graham's not out there doing interviews and things like that. Phil is, and then you have Aaron that's doing a lot of press stuff. So you have your focused messaging, and right now they're puffing their chest, and you'd expect Sony to be puffing their chest, and they're not. And I think that's what people are starting to get a little concerned about. Going back to the Bloomberg article. Game developers who have been creating titles for the next PlayStation anticipate its price to be in the region of $499 to $549, which I hope doesn't mean that the Xbox One Series X is going to be $599, because then that's I don't think that's going to be a winner. Plus, Sony's CEO Kenichiro Yoshida said the company is going to aim to increase recurring revenue rather than one-time hardware purchases. So, much to your chagrin, John, they're going into the because they see what's happening for Microsoft. They want, which is why they started charging for PSN in the first place. They saw Microsoft making a bundle on Xbox Live and said, "Why aren't we charging for PSN?" And that's why, in the hoopla of we love used games and all that stuff, and the crowd is like going berserk, Jack Tretton said, "Oh yeah, by the way, we're going to start charging for PSN," and got away with it. So there, I don't know. Now, let me also say this, and the article kind of backs this up too. Microsoft is doing all of their kind of marketing right now through Twitter, through Inside Xbox, through Phil Spencer having, going on interviews and things like that. Bloomberg does say the virus is already, COVID-19 has upended Sony's promotional plans. They're still thinking that a May reveal is coming, but it's just not going to be a big press conference like we're used to seeing. I'm wondering if it's going to be a state of play myself.
You know what? In this article, like you said, Michael, it's at Bloomberg, so I mean, you give a little credence to it. But right now, like Z Blackrider mentioned something in the chat. He said social media can really twist all this stuff.
Oh yeah.
You have to be careful too, because unless it's an official thing from Sony or Xbox or Nintendo, some of these guys, man, I don't know. Like in that Bloomberg source, if you read the article, it's always coming from people that remain to be undisclosed.
Yep.
Or from some kind of source. So you kind of wonder, how much truth can you put into this?
And very much why I said you take it with a grain of salt.
Right.
If this was Kotaku, we wouldn't even be talking about it. I wouldn't even bring it up.
Now, I don't know what you and Peter think. To me, these consoles are both going to be pretty awesome. It looks like, Xbox has got more compute units and they've got more teraflops. Sony's got a faster SSD, but they both seem like they're going to be delivering a lot of stuff that are pretty similar. I can't think with all with that architecture. I find it hard to believe that it's going to be at least 400. I'm thinking it might be $440, $500. Now I could be totally wrong, and then, that there's that rumor of the Lockhart console, maybe a cheaper version of the Xbox Series X. But the specs that I heard, what's weird about that console, the specs that I heard on that are lower than the Xbox One X. So they're not much. So
but the sum of all parts is greater than the X. So.
True. But
But I hope not. I hate.
I hope not too, Peter. I think that the Series X, I think they need to just stick with that and forget the Lockhart. You've already got the Xbox One X.
Yeah. Just have Series X, just one console.
Right.
PlayStation, the same thing. PS5, and that's it.
Right.
Here's what I.
Yeah, later on, 3 or 4 years, they can do their refreshes, and go on from there.
Exactly.
And I think people would be happy with that. We don't need 2 different versions at launch. We really don't.
Well, so and again, so this is interesting because this is what I talked with Ainsley and Dan about this on Saturday. I still don't think Lockhart is a real thing. I think that if I'm being honest, I think what they're going to do is I think they're going to stick with the X as the lower end system. I think the S is going to get phased out, and I think you're going to be the X and the Series X. And the reason that I say that is twofold. Number one, I know it's a limited edition. I know there's only 45,000 of them coming out, and I know it's going to be the last custom X console they ever make. But it's also one of the only custom X consoles you can buy. And so why make a custom Xbox One X now that's coming out next month? I think it's coming out next month. That you're not even getting the game that it's built for until September.
Yeah.
And then expecting to have, then you're going to put out a Lockhart in November? Why would you do that? That is ridiculous. Go ahead.
To be honest with you, Mike, like I said, day one, I'm getting both the PS5 and the Xbox One Series X. I'm getting both, no questions asked. But I really think Xbox is doing everything. Seems like, speaking about Xbox right now, they seem to be doing things really well right now. Things are going well. I don't think they need to throw this Lockhart model in the mix, because that's just a little more confusion. That's just what they really need to do, is promote this new Xbox One Series X. And you don't want anything taken away from that. And, you know, if you put two console versions out, I'm telling you, there's a lot of people that probably would buy the cheaper one. And maybe that would sell well, but I don't know if that would help the Series X, because then that kind of brings down all the talk about the power of the console. You know what I mean? All the hype for all this power, the 12 teraflops, and then you're going to, you know, promote one that's much less, you know, 6 teraflops or whatever it is. I mean, to me, that doesn't sound like that would be very smart. And they've done everything pretty well so far. So if I were Xbox, I would just promote that Series X, man, and be done with it. Oh. I think they're doing just fine going that route.
Well,
and I think the Lockhart was just in the back pocket, you know, just in case Sony came out with who knows what, you know, like a pretty powerful machine, but like super cheap, you know. They need to have something, but the price difference is not going to be, you know, material wise, it's not huge between PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. So, you know, they could match the price and just, you know.
Yeah, and I
make up the difference in subscription services and all that stuff.
Yeah, and Sobsky, I hear you. I hear you, and other people have said this, that games could be bottlenecked, you know, on the Jaguar CPU and all that. But I'm not sure it's as much as you think it is. I don't think it's as much as people think it is, because I mean, this is still a console that is capable of doing 4K 60, the X. Now, most of your bigger games, 4K 30, but look at Gears. I mean, Gears 5 was 4K 60, both campaign and multiplayer. So I don't like Halo Infinite. Halo Infinite is going to look really good on the Xbox One X. Will it look better on the Series X with ray tracing and all that stuff and faster load times? Will the faster load times help? Yes, absolutely. But
I just, you know, like De Niro said, and I get what De Niro said. De Niro's like awesome. You know, he's always in the chat, and he said that Microsoft doesn't care what console you buy; they just want you in the door and in their ecosystem. That is true, but they've already done that. This would be console suicide for them to launch, in my opinion, to launch a Lockhart beside the Series X. The whole hype is driving this power and driving the 12 teraflops, the 52 compute units, all the neat things that it can do. You know, we've seen what it looks like. The tower's pretty cool looking. You know, you can have it vertically or horizontally. Why would you put anything less out there? To me, that just takes away from something. That would be a misstep, in my opinion. Now, maybe later on, maybe if they want to put something else, but they've already got a console that's less powerful. That's the Xbox One X. I think they don't need the Lockhart. There is no need for that at this time. I really don't see the need.
Right, I agree. And so, Sobsky, some games will still run okay, but can we expect 5 years from now for those games to play well? 5 years from now, I think we're going to get I think what's going to happen is you're going to get another mid-gen, you know, you're going to get a Series Y or what the hell ever. And then, you know, yeah, I'm not saying that the console won't phase out. and I'm not suggesting that. I think what's going to happen is I think they're going to stay with 2. I think you're going to see the S go away. The S is going to get dropped because the X is getting down to $299. If they can get the X down to $250 next year, that's I think that is your entry level system. And then in 4 or 5 years or 3 or 4 years or whatever, I think what Microsoft, and I've said this repeatedly, what Microsoft is going to do is they're going to tout the difference. And they're going to make that difference. I'm sorry, food I wish I'd known. They're going to make that difference wider. And then they're going to say, look, this is what this looks like on an X, but this is what Hellblade looks like on an X. And sure, you want that 4K 30 and it looks pretty good, but look at it over here on the Series X with the ray tracing and the and all this, all this hoopla. You're gonna have your good and you're gonna have your better. And I think that's where they're gonna do this. And I don't think they need to do the R&D and create a console that then they have to turn around and manufacture and sell and try to take a loss on if it's really got a lot of the chipset in it that may not be necessary. I think the X is what the Lockhart is going to be. So.
Yeah, and there's too much difference. I mean, you're talking a 12 teraflop system versus a 6 or 7 or whatever the Lockhart. Right. Yeah, that's a huge disparity. I mean, that's and I get the new Zen 2 architecture or whatnot. Maybe the teraflops and the Lockhart may make it more powerful than Xbox One X, but to me, it almost sounds like it's about on the same level. So, I mean, you've already got a good system, the Xbox One X. Why not just leave that as the Lockhart? That at least that's what I would do.
Yeah. So I know you said a little bit on it, Peter, but where do you come down on this officially?
Well, I hope there's not going to be a Lockhart, and I hope there's not going to be an X and S and then all 9 yards. Just move on, Sell the rest as is, deplete your inventory, and after that,
But don't.
And then 2 years from now, I don't know. Maybe you come out with a, I don't know. Who knows?
But what do you do for people that can't afford the Series X? I mean, what do you do for them?
Well, that's why they have that plan where you can, buy the console in your life, and I forgot what it's called.
Mike, this
is
the hardest. The topic you just brought up, Mike. I understand it, but this is the thing, and this is like in real life, and I hate saying this sounds cruel, but
Xbox All
not everybody,
Access, by the way.
No, not everybody can afford everything. I mean, I don't know if it's really these gaming companies.
That's not a cruel statement. I can't. That's not a cruel statement.
But here's the thing. I don't think these gaming companies should be. I mean, that's just the reality of it. People can't afford everything. Like some people can't afford a PC. Some people can't afford a fishing boat. Some people can't. That doesn't mean that you can make products available to everyone and give everything away. You know what I mean? I get that they're wanting, but they've already got this ecosystem going. In fact, you can, play on your Xbox One X, your Xbox One Slim. They've already got multiple consoles. I don't really know if they need everybody to buy the new system right away, especially with their infrastructure.
Well, and Sony's headed in that same spot.
I mean, look at the, going back years to all the consoles that got released. Those were not cheap either.
Right.
No, they were not. And you
only had a choice of one. That's it.
Well, Peter,
once again,
25 years ago,
it or you cannot.
Yeah, the PlayStation 1 and the Sega Saturn were both $399. I mean, that was 25 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Fast forward, if you can't afford it now, I mean, I know that sounds insensitive on my part, but I think the day of the age
PlayStation 1, by the way, was
$2.99. Was it? I thought
Yes.
it was $399.
No, so that was the
I know the Saturn was.
the Saturn was $399. That was the E3 1995 mic drop from
Right.
Sony, where the head of Sony America at the time walked up to the podium and just said $299 and walked away, and that was that. So that
Maybe that's right. Yeah, it's
there
been
was
a while.
There was a $100 difference, kind of like of a repeat of the 4 and Xbox
So
One.
But still, even at that,
is
you know,
how much now?
you're talking $300, and that's 25 years ago.
Well, sure.
So I don't believe the fact if people are saying, well, I can't afford it now. I mean, I'm sorry, but I just don't buy that. I really don't. Consumers will do anything to keep the cost of these consoles down. They want these consoles to deliver 4K, 8K graphics, 120 frames per second. They want to be amazed when they bring this home, but they don't want to pay the money for it. I'm having a real hard time buying the fact that most of us gamers have multiple systems. I see people, they find a way to get a console no matter what, and people had no problem paying $499 for the Xbox One X. You're the Xbox One, you know, when that launched, that was $499. I bought one day one. I don't think that price, I think that given the day and age we live in, I don't think that $400, $500 is too much to ask for something that's going to give us hours of entertainment. You know, something that it's not like you're just going to throw it away a year later or whatever. You're going to have this thing for a while, and you're going to play your Xbox games, your PlayStation games. I mean, it's almost one of these things, well, if you can't afford it, then you need to get out of the game. You know what I mean? I don't know how else to say it.
I don't know how
I mean, you can't give it. It's not like we're Santa Claus. They can't give out everything for free.
And here's another thing. You want to be on the cheap end and use your existing console? And there you have xCloud.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like there's not other services that people could take advantage of. This notion of that Xbox has to be Santa Claus and give everything away for free. That's just
no one said they don't have to give everything for free. That's why I said they're going to hold on to the Xbox One X, because I hate to tell you, but not everybody has your money, John. Not everybody has your money.
But Mike, but I know. But
and that's why I said they keep selling that till they sell out.
Mike,
and after that, you either like.
Mike, here's the thing with me though. I do make a very good income. My wife also works too, but I've earned where I've got. If people want to make more, you do more with your lives to get to where you want to go.
That TV behind you. Hold on. That TV behind you. Right. Is that the top of the line?
No, that's a Samsung 800 series.
So it's not the top of the line.
Series.
Why didn't you buy the top of the line TV for there? Why didn't you buy that?
Because I've got 4 or 5 other 50-inch televisions in my house.
So, okay. But the top of the line.
But you know what I'm saying by saying that not everybody has my money, Mike. That's not right to say that, because there's people that make a lot less than I do, and they have still bought multiple consoles as well.
Well, but you're suggesting that if
I'm not suggesting. I just think that
you said it. But hold on, I'm using your words here. You said if they can't afford to buy the Xbox One Series X and PS5, they need to get out of the game. They need to get out of the game.
As far as buying those consoles, like when I go to buy a car, Mike, if I go to a car lot and I look at a car and it's $70,000, there was a pickup truck that I was looking at the other day and it's $70,000. Do I have the money to buy it? Yes. Am I going to buy it? No, because I'm not an idiot. But here's the thing. If somebody goes to buy a car, it's just one of those things in life, and you don't have the money to buy it, you have to be responsible enough as an adult to turn away and say, hey, I can't afford it.
Right. And you get a lesser, you get a lesser price car.
As someone that can't afford it, you can't demand that they lower the price so that everybody that doesn't have the money can buy it.
But you don't. No. Nobody's saying that. Nobody's saying that. What they're saying is that if I can't afford that $70,000 car, that doesn't mean that I can't then drive. I'm going to buy the
no,
$30,000 car because that's what I can afford. And
But
that's
like Don Matrick said, there's
That's why
consoles
you have
already
the
out.
Amico.
That's
The-
why
That's
you
right.
have
That's why I'm
other
getting Amico.
consoles, though.
but
You've already
right.
got, people don't need to buy the Series X. What I'm getting at, you've
They
already
don't.
got the
They-
Xbox One X.
Right.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. And what I'm saying is that the people that are going to walk into Best Buy, that's the whole point of why I'm in agreement that I don't think there needs to be a Lockhart, because if I walk into Best Buy, if I can't afford the Xbox One Series X, but I
Right.
still want to play Halo Infinite, I've got a less expensive option that's going to still get me what I want. Just like if I can't buy that expensive car, I'm going to buy that cheaper car that can still get me from point A to point B.
But see, what's happening is gamers. There's certain gamers out there saying, "Oh, $399 is too high, $299." See, you got people out there, and people that can't afford it because they've already shown it by buying multiple consoles last generation. So there's a bunch of bull crap out there. Like, oh, I don't have it's too much. No, you had enough. You bought the PlayStation and the Xbox last generation. Now you're saying that $399, anything over $399 is too high. All I'm saying is, if people are always, I mean, you spend thousands of dollars on your cell phone, even though you set up payments for that. You know, I paid $1,200 for my cell phone. And you're going to end up paying it. I mean, they've got payment plans for the consoles too, like the Xbox and different things. I mean, it seems to me like there are gamers out there that want to keep that price down, but they want the world with it. And that just isn't going to happen. In the real world, it doesn't work like that. Or otherwise, these consoles are always going to be behind in technology.
So getting back to the Bloomberg article, to your point,
Right.
if this is correct, Sony's not producing as much because they know people aren't going to buy it as much. So they're not going to produce
And
as
that
many.
may be true. That may be true, Mike. I mean, I could see that with everything going on right now. I'm fully prepared to have a hard time buying a Series X and a PlayStation 5. I think it might be difficult to get one right away. As much as I want one day one, there may be shortages, there may be production issues because of all this corona. I don't know. And that may drive up the price.
Z Black,
I could actually see that.
if that Denon could pass through 4K, send me a DM. I might buy that from you. But that's the thing, you know. The thing is that they know, you know. Again, if this is true, if the article is true, and that's and take it with a grain of salt, Sony knows they're not going to sell as many, so they're not going to make as many. They're going to find.
I mean, I'm not the Grinch who stole Christmas. Look, don't get me wrong. It may sound. I want everybody to enjoy
You're
and
the
play
Grinch
these games.
who stole gaming.
And I think even Peter agrees with me on this. I mean, not everybody can afford everything, and that's just the way life works.
I know.
That's just the way it goes.
But that's why you have
and if you
cheaper
can't afford
options.
it now, you save up. See, we've known about these consoles. This got in our episode a few episodes ago. We've known about these for a year or so.
Sure. We don't know the
People have
price.
had time, right? But people have had time to stuff some money back. I mean, we're talking months and months. You could be putting money back. It's not like you got to wait till they come out and think, "Oh my God, where am I going to come up with $400 or $500?" A smart
Peter,
person plans months in advance.
Peter,
and starts saving money.
Where's Bella when we need her with her spreadsheets?
Yeah, exactly. 75 cents
I mean,
a day.
But
Mike, that's even what I do. I save money if I can't.
That's
Even though I've got a
great.
good job and stuff, Shammer and I will talk about something, and I'll say, "Hun, I'd really like to have this." And we'll look and we'll like, "Oh, I could buy it now, but here, I'm going to hold off. I'll save up instead of putting on credit. I'll save up, put some money back, and I'll pay for cash because I like buying for things in cash. I don't like having a lot of charges. That's why I don't like the streaming stuff. I don't like have bills coming out. I just like saving up. And when I got the money, I go out and buy something. But I know these consoles are coming out, so I've already got money set aside for this stuff.
And that's great. That's great that you could do that. But people that can't do that, they deserve a cheaper option. Not necessarily. I mean, look, the price is going to be the price. $600 is too rich for my blood. That's just plain outright.
But what I'm saying is you've already got a cheaper version. You got the Xbox One X.
So to me,
and if they can't afford that, I don't know what to tell them.
No. So you're not, but I think you're going around my point in that the topic question I put up there was, does Microsoft need Lockhart? I don't think they do, because of exactly that. If I want to get into Halo Infinite, whatever, Hellblade 2 and all that, and I can't afford the upcoming, $600 for the Series X, I might plop down. I might plop down on that if I don't have one. I might plop down on that Cyberpunk X, because I know I'm going to be able to play that stuff, and I know I've got all that stuff. I know I've got Cyberpunk coming. Now,
Mike, if we went back in time, you remember when I hurt my shoulder and I was off work for 2 years, and I went through 5 surgeries.
I remember.
The only income that I had Shammer got laid off from work, and the only income I had at the time was workman's comp, because I got hurt. It was a work-related accident.
I remember.
Even then, with the minimal money that I had, we were struggling. I still managed to get a day one Xbox One. I still managed to buy games, and life went on. But like I said, if you want something and you work hard enough for it, it's attainable. I have a hard time believing these people can't afford it.
You can't guilt people into that mentality.
I'm not guilting it. This is a real life. So this was a guy that I couldn't work, Mike. I had no income coming.
I know,
and I still managed to come up with the money.
And
that's a real life experience. That's no guilt.
That very much is, but you can't put that on everybody else. You can't put that on everybody else.
What do you want to do for everybody that can't afford everything, though? What's your plan for everybody that can't afford $399? What should these gaming companies do?
You have a cheaper option,
for everybody that can't
which is exactly what they're doing now. That's what they do. That's why you have a PS Pro and a PS4. That's why you have an X and an S, and then the Sade. You have those.
But that's what I'm getting at. What I'm saying is they don't need to do anything. They've already got that, just like
that's
PlayStation.
What I'm saying.
That's my point.
Right. That's you and I are on the same page here.
We are on the same page.
We're on the same page. I don't think they need a Lockhart, and to Peter's point, I think that is a I think that would hurt them to put that out.
I think we were just coming from different angles, Mike. But yes, we're on the same page.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
This is the first time, and this is the first time in a gaming kind of generation where we've had that. Because you're right, we didn't have. Well, that's not true. When the Xbox 360 launched, you had the Xbox 360, and then you had the Xbox 360 Core, which, if you remember, was, what was it, Peter, $100 less, but didn't have the hard drive. So you had you had the same machine, but you had different SKUs.
Or arcade, wasn't it arcade?
They had an arcade model, but it was called the Core.
Yeah.
How did the discless Xbox sell? Do you know, Mike? Peter? How did those do?
I don't know. We didn't. I had no idea.
I don't. I remember they came out, and I don't know. Are there any numbers on those, or how that did?
They don't do numbers on any of those. I didn't know. No, they don't do any numbers on that. I can't imagine that did well at all.
I can't either.
I can't imagine that did well at all. No. You need a drive for a couple of. I mean, you can't. It becomes a Ouya.
Well, see, I had a guy at work, a fellow electrician of mine. He actually last winter came up to me and he said, "John, I got my son one of those new Xboxes," and he showed me the picture and it was one of the discless ones. And he says, "I'm really excited because his other one went bad and now he can play. He's got a bunch of games on C or on DVD or this and Blu-ray." I'm thinking, well,
Good luck.
You're not going to be able to use that function, buddy. I said, you're going to have to, everything's digital with that. And he's like, "Oh crap. Are you serious?"
He's
I said,
in there.
"Yeah."
He's at home with a knife, slicing open a,
I felt bad because he looked heartbroken. I mean, you could see he went from being real happy about having this gift to I said, "No, dude, you gotta get him the other one. You gotta get him something that plays DVDs, Blu-rays. You gotta get that."
Yeah, And De Niro has a great has kind of a good question. I wonder if the Sade was a test for Lockhart. Isn't Lockhart rumored to have no disk drive? I had not heard that it wasn't. All you've heard about that is innuendo too. You know that I know the rumors are out there that it's already in people's in like the staff home, you know, stuff like that. I'm not of the again, I think that now Z Black says it was #1 on Amazon in the UK a few months back. So
Really?
for whatever that's worth. I don't know. I think
I can see people having that as a second console.
I could, yeah.
You know what? Thinking about it, I could. Yeah, I guess I could too. I could see that as having like to replace the you know, if my Xbox One went bad, you know, because the kids don't really put discs in, so yeah, but I don't think it set the world on fire. The other thing about the X that I think is a reason that they would leave that in place and be your low budget option to the Series X is because I think that the X has exceeded the expectations of Microsoft as far as sales go. And look, I mea culpa'd myself. I railed on it when they announced it. And then I bought one because
Right.
you know,
I remember.
I completely I got on this show on air, and as the Iron Lords would say, I bent the knee. You know, I totally mea culpa that, yep, I got one. And I'm happy with it. And I'm going to roll that into next gen as I'm playing my Amico. But, you know, that's where
So, Mike, how long are you going to wait? Like, I know you're going to be playing your Amico. Are you just going to play it by ear with these new consoles coming out? Or do you even have a plan right now?
Well, and I'd always said, because I have a base PS4, that my next gen console is probably going to be a PS5, and you know, I'm going to wait and see what happens, because I know, like I said, when Halo Infinite launches, I'm going to be able to play it, and I know it's going to look really good. It's going to look great. Like, I was playing Guacamelee last night on, you know, and I'm playing it down here on the X. It looks gorgeous. I mean, you know, 4K, color popping. You know, it's one of those things that. And by the way, I want to say welcome to is it Nikab? I want to say welcome because I think he's new as well, or he or she. And welcome in. I hope you're enjoying the show. You know, I'm of the mind that I'm holding out, you know, to see what happens. I'm just so that same Bloomberg article did have one other thing. Damien Thong, an analyst at Macquarie Capital, he says, I think both the PS5 and Xbox Series X may end up at $450, even though they would lose money at that price. If they are really, and that's not unprecedented that a company would lose money on the hardware to get you into the ecosystem. That's not a new concept. Now, I will tell you, at $450, you have my attention. At $450, because I might get a decent trade-in for my X. If I get $200 for the X, that brings my cost for the Series X down to $250. All right, now
who you gonna trade it in for? In at GameStop? That might not be around by then.
Well, they might not be around, no. But somebody will, you know. If I can get if we get that, then okay. Then now you're talking. Now you've got my attention, and now I've got a footing to afford. $600. You don't have me.
Yeah.
I can't. I simply can't.
See, with me, Mike, you know, when the Switch launched, I believe it was $299, but then by the time you buy a screen protector and whatnot, you know, you're ended up walking out of $350 or so, you know, whatever. Even with the Amico, that's $270. You know, that's close to $300 right there.
Right.
You know, so I mean, I'm going to be spending a lot of money this year, but like I said, if I'm going to pay,
think about too what I'm getting with that as the Founders Edition. I'm getting $50 worth of, you know, the games are going to be $2 to $10, and I'm getting $50 plus 5-6 packing games, 2 of which are packing games that I was gonna buy. So now I've got $50 worth of coin that I'm going to buy other games with. I mean, that to me is why I'm easier on that, because it's the price point is one that I can afford, knowing that my 3 kids upstairs are going to be playing that with me too. That does make a difference. $600 for the X. Now, De Niro he asked a good question. Mike, would you consider doing the all access thing? I've seen the all access is apparently it's 24 months, no interest.
Mm-hmm.
That's possible, but I got to talk my wife into that. And then I'm reading about this. When it comes to the Xbox Series X, it says, enjoy the option to upgrade to your next Xbox console Series X after the equivalent of 18 payments. So if I started now, I'd have to wait a year and a half before I could upgrade to the Series X.
I guess it just depends on how bad you want it, or if you're willing to play on your current systems.
And I am.
I mean, I am.
Yeah, that's
so
the thing. I'm willing, and I think that's why. Microsoft's. I could be wrong. The folks in the chat room were saying that June they're going to announce the Lockhart, and I could be dead wrong. I have been dead wrong before, and when I am, you guys know, I'll look straight in the camera and said I'm wrong, but I would be surprised if they have it. Peter, I think you said something that was very good and I think somewhat accurate. I think they may have had that in their pocket in case the PlayStation 5 was so inexpensive or so less expensive than the X that they had to have something that was on par with it. But if the PS5 is going to be $499, I don't think they have to.
Or even $450.
Even $450.
They can match the price.
If they can match the price. The Series X at $500, I think is an overall winner. I think people will flock to that. I think people will buy that. I agree with you, John, in that people spend $1,000 for the latest Apple iPhone, and I know they do. The hardcore people do. The cheaper option's not for the hardcore. It's not.
Well, I mean,
but what those people do is they get, they lease their phone or add it to the monthly cost, so they still have their iPhone, but it costs them, $20 extra a month.
I think for the longest time we've been stuck at this $399 model, or like what gamers or what people would like to keep it at. I think we've kind of moved past that.
No.
I think things have changed.
I think people have, because remember the Xbox One was $500, and the PS4 was $400. I don't think you're. No. Let me be clear. The days of a $400 console, I think, are over.
I do too.
And I don't mean the Amico, and I don't mean that to everybody knows I love Intellivision, so I'm not saying that to disparage the Amico. The Amico is in a different class of, man, I keep saying stuff that it's not coming out right.
Yes, you
so
are.
I'm just
That's
gonna.
right. Yeah.
No, but I don't. If I, it's a different model and ecosystem for the Amico.
Well, Tommy, you're right, Mike. Tommy said that with the Amico, they're not competing. They're not.
Right.
He flat out said they're not trying to compete with Xbox and PlayStation. That's not his gig. They're targeting a whole different audience. They're trying to. This is more of a family thing. So what you said, there was nothing wrong with. Yeah, it was. You were perfectly right. Yeah.
Oh. De Niro says some gamers are stuck at 400 because it was such a hit for Sony at the beginning of the gen, but they need to move past that. How much was
it
the
because
Pro?
400 was the hit, or they were $100 less?
Yep.
Was a hit.
And more powerful.
Yeah.
The PS Pro right now is 400. So, they're still on that 400 kick.
Right.
I don't know that people, and again, I think
But
if
everything becomes more expensive. Look at PSN,
Well, they dropped the price of PSN. Well, no,
but I mean,
PS Now.
Sorry, sorry, just it's the online stuff. It used to be free, and then Microsoft is charging it for years. So okay, now we're going to charge for it.
Yeah,
so.
look how much money they're making.
A long time ago, Michael, when I was about, 10, 11 years old, I had an afternoon paper route. And I remember I wanted a Commodore 64 computer. And I mean, I after school every day, I'd go deliver papers and all through the year in the wintertime, and I'd go collect. And back then you could actually go door to door, and people would pay for the newspaper and you'd rip off the tickets, and people would tip me real good around the holidays, Christmas time. But I saved up money. Even as a kid, my parents didn't help me. And I bought the Commodore 64 keyboard. Then a few months later, I was able to buy the monitor and the disk drive. But it took me like a year and a half, your process of doing it. But those same things I've kept with me even as a kid, even though that like I've got a good job and I'm making good money, those same values about saving money and pension money, if there's something you really want, I've still kept that as an adult. That's why I plan for things like this. That's why I'm so excited, but it makes it a lot easier if you can start saving, ahead of time for these things. Even $10 a week, that's $40 a month, $480 a year. I mean, it all adds up. Just at $10 a week, you got yourself a console.
Well, maybe it's easier to do that now that you're not having to drive and spend money on food and, but I understand, I understand what you're saying
what I'm
too.
saying.
I know what you're saying. And we, there are people that can do that. There are definitely people that can do that. Well,
the way I look at it too, if you can afford Xbox Game Pass, if you can afford PS Now, if you can afford Stadia, if you can afford $10, $15, $20 a month for these services, there's no reason why you can't buy these consoles.
Well, but that's for games. I mean, you're buying that to buy games.
Well, I know, but I'm just saying for temporarily, if let's say you were buying Game Pass or whatever, or PS Now, you could temporarily suspend that. If you really wanted the console real bad, there are ways, because something has to give. You know what I'm saying? If for people that don't have the money, you just have to make a conscious decision. Do I want to pay for the service, or do I want this console? And then you could resume your services once you got your console, and then you could go back to paying for that.
That's sound logic. That's sound logic. That it's, but you have to, that has to be an option for
but
you
have
to be able to
disciplined. It's
and that's not always the case,
Right.
And there are people that just still simply look at look at that and say, I'm sorry, $600 is too much for what I think I'm going to get. And that's,
I think what's always cracked me up, Mike, the people though that say they can't afford these things, you'll see them post on Twitter about all these new games they're buying.
Right, they're buying the
You'll
games.
see them post other things, and right. But what I'm saying, so there is money there. There's liquid money that people are buying stuff with.
Right, but do you buy the console and don't have any games, or do you buy the games?
You can't say on Right. You can't say on one hand, oh, I don't have enough money to buy a console. Then you see people posting left and right all the games for the different consoles that they've got.
Yeah, because they've
So
got,
there is
right,
money somewhere.
So about priorities. What are your priorities?
right. Do you want the console or do you want the games?
Exactly. Right.
Right. Do you want the console or do you want the games? It's
Right.
you know, and also too, you know, De Niro also says, afford it or not, people always want to spend as less as possible. That's why when you go to the auto dealer and you go to buy a car, do you how many times when you buy a car do you really just walk in and go, you know what, sticker price is fine. Here's here's 70 grand. Thank you. No, you haggle to get, you haggle for the best price. Now you can't haggle for consoles. That's you can't walk into Best Buy. I can't walk in. I couldn't walk into my wife couldn't walk into Best Buy and go, that Samsung 4K TV is really nice, but I'll give you $1,000 cash for it right now. They would go, yeah, have a nice day.
Right. Well,
so
Mike, you've got some people that are just cheap too, man. They don't want to. I'm telling you, they won't spend money. I mean, there are people that are sticklers. They won't. I mean, they won't buy a stick of gum for 20 cents. They'll
try to make it 10 cents.
They'll try to make it a penny.
Yep, and those people are definitely out there.
De Niro said he's cheap.
But De Niro's got children that are still in the house. So
right.
There is that. I have 3 kids that are not out of school yet. So there is
You can sell one.
I could sell one. The emo child that stays in his room.
But just for the money reasons, Mike, that's why I'm against like last gen, both PlayStation and Xbox, they've had 4 different console versions or whatever come out. It would be a lot easier on consumers, and money wise, because you know how it is. You buy a console and you have it, and even if you trade it in at GameStop, you end up losing money.
No,
I would much rather see them stick with hey, here's the console launch, and 3 or 4 years later, here's the upgraded version, and 3 or 4 years from later, we'll start over again and do. I mean, 2 console versions a generation, I think, is plenty.
Yeah,
that's just me.
I think it's I think that's where we are for the rest of our life. So,
right.
All right. So it is 11:48. And I think we actually might get out of here in a just over 2-hour podcast, because
dang, I want my money back.
I know
it's been awesome.
It has been.
This is where I get sad, start drinking more.
Right. Yes, but this is where you'll get to sleep for more than 2 hours.
This is where I get
sad. I hate saying goodbye.
Pete said boo. So I want Pete on the show in October, and I want Pete to come on when we do our Amico unboxing, and I want him to come on and I want him to come on, and we're gonna do a group unboxing. Like we'll have to have some willpower, and save it for Thursday. In fact, what is the 10th? The 10th of October. Hold on, I'm getting to the calendar. The 10th of October is actually a Saturday. That's not going to work.
Open every box. He says he's shy. Don't worry, open every box. Show me your box, I'll show you mine.
Oh, my God. He might give you a ring pop.
We can show Pete's video, act like he's on the air.
Oh my God! You're gonna need a Mentos after that.
Right.
Everyone was like, "What the hell are you doing?" He's like, "I'm sorry, I'm late to go have lunch." That guy in a commercial. So, yeah, I don't know. So we might have to do a special Saturday night show. Is what we're gonna have to do. We're gonna have to do a special Saturday night unboxing show. And
well, this is a big deal for you too, Mike, because out of all of us, you're probably the biggest television fan out of all of us. So I know how much this means to you, buddy.
Do you know? So De Niro, when I was on Bitcast on Saturday, was trying to egg us on so much for me to talk about it.
Oh, our secret information?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
No. Just in general, he just wanted me to.
Oh.
He just wanted me to talk about the Amico because, that's all I do. So it's all I do whenever I go anywhere. So Pete and I are like salesmen. I don't know why Tommy hasn't hired us for his marketing. So but I'd love to have. I want to do a special unboxing and do and have Pete on, because he really, if you watch his videos, he's so passionate and he's so energetic that if Tommy Tallarico and here on Next Level Gaming we don't sell you on getting an Amico, just go watch his channel. So Super Cooper says
Tommy,
a Myco.
Tommy being Italian, I mean, I kind of felt a lot of pressure to buy the Amico too, because just like in the Godfather movies, I didn't want to wake up in the bed on a Saturday morning and find a horse's head in my bed if I didn't buy it. You find
a controller on the pillow next to you with blood on it.
So I had to get it. I had no other option.
Right, because otherwise he was going to come through it. He was going to come through the Skype. We had there's one thing that next time he comes on, I found out it's a Skype thing, and I felt bad whenever he's talking, or whenever like multiple people talk. If someone else talks, it mutes them. Peter and I were testing out the stream the other day, and he was playing the guitar. And it was really nice. I was getting serenaded, and all I did was like say, "Peter, that sounds so good," and like it totally muted his guitar. I'm like, what the hell is that? So, yeah. So anyway. So does anybody have anything? Yeah, right. If Daredevil Dave Dahl doesn't sell you on Retrosoft Studios Retromania Wrestling, he isn't trolling hard enough.
Yeah, Dave. So, yeah, we got to get you on the show sometime.
Z-Black wants to do. Maybe what we'll do is we'll take all of our Amico bros, and we'll move all of our stuff up to here, up to where the NLG is, and we'll just have like 9 or 10
the
people.
Video, the Amico guy should be all our videos.
The Amico guy? Oh, the running man, the intelligent
running man,
the intelligent running man.
Oh, Dave Dahl wants to know what the Amico is. The AMICO, Dave. It's Amico, Italian word for friend. It's the new Intellivision console that's coming out.
He spelled it IMECKO.
Right. It's AMICO. It's the new Intellivision console. Yeah.
And somehow we're gonna someone's gonna get me to show it.
Man, I have bad luck though. I'm kind of like Charlie Brown. I know when I open mine up, I hope nothing's scratched or missing, because I'll be the one guy that has something wrong with his box, and it'll be like rats. Yeah.
A ring pop will fix that.
Right, yeah.
Something's wrong with your box, just a ring pop. All right. We can't. You gotta stop. Somebody's gonna we're gonna get stricken. This is the Amico, Dave. This is the new Intellivision Amico. Is. So I urge you, Dahl, watch Pete's videos, and then come back and watch our interview with Tommy Tallarico from January, and then and you will get the whole gambit of what this thing can do. It is fantastic.
And it seconds as a foot massager. You take those controllers out and fill it up with water, and it massages your feet.
Good
You
Lord.
can have different vibration settings as well.
Good grief. Can't take you anywhere.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's the Amico. Tommy gets his weekly plug for the Amico. So, does it do anything for recovering from chair shots?
I need to hang out with Dave. Dave, me and you need to hang out. I'm telling you right now.
Oh, Nate.
He's the guy.
Nate popped in and said, anyone else find it hilarious that Roger Goodell is rocking an Xbox One Connect in his basement? Oh, my goodness. All right, so anyway. Oh, Pete says box issues. There's a cream for that. Oh, all right.
Oh, Lord.
I
What has happened to our show? We
I
need an
don't
adult
know.
rating now.
We do. I know. And Pete, there's no, dude. I truly like your content, and I think that what you're doing is great. And there's not enough. Even if it's, and I've seen you do some Super Nintendo stuff and some other retro stuff. There's not enough positivity out here on the interwebs when it comes to gaming. So, you do great work. So it's why, even though it's hard to listen without headphones. It's why it's why I love Retro Renegades. It's why I love TXR on Monday nights. It's why, there's a group of, when you get a chance to watch Gold Chain Gamers, my brother Jeff, Sincere, and his co-host. I mean, there's not enough of that out there. So anyway, Coop said, what are you doing in Goodell's basement? It's a good question there, Nate. Anyway, so does anybody have any other news to bring up before we roll out for the night?
Oh, man.
Nope.
I think we're good.
No news is good news.
Well, I don't know about that. So, all right, we're gonna get up on out of here. He's De Niro says we're all good too. So I guess if De Niro says we're good, we're good. So all right, we're gonna get up out of here. Thank you guys in the chat room, and to our new folks. Thank you guys so much for jumping in and checking us out. Hopefully you enjoyed. Magnetic Storm 25, great show, guys. Thank you. And hopefully you guys will stick with us on Thursday nights at 9:30. Well, we should have the whole crew back next week. We'll have Chris, we'll have Frankie. So I want to give shouts out to everybody in the chat room. We had Sobski tonight. D-Cub, our new watcher. We got our friend Z Black and De Niro, and Super Cooper, of course, who again, dude, we miss you. We miss you very much. We got a game with you soon. I want to thank Too Much Food for jumping in. Sorry we couldn't get you in tonight, but I hope you did well on your exam, and we'll definitely get you in very, very soon because you're a great guy. And I know I saw Invader in here, Duke Togo 13, also who I think is new. Thank you so much for stopping in, and I hope you'll come hang out with us. You can see that the chat room is a great bunch of fellow gaming brothers and sometimes gaming sisters when we have Mamacita and those in, and hopefully you'll come back and hang out with us going forward. So for those of us here at NLG, I want to thank you guys. Great show again, John, Peter. We hold the fort down. And
Oh yeah.
De Niro, stay till the very end of the closing video. Just again, stay till the very, very end. All right, and we'll see you guys very soon. I'll let you guys hear the final music because I don't know if you've actually seen the full closing video yet. So have a great night.
Closing ceremonies.
And play on, gamers.
Game on, guys.
Thanks for watching, guys.